A picture in your mind of a race car driver. Odds are you did not picture a blonde-haired, blue-eyed 19-year-old girl. Well, there's a blonde-haired, blue-eyed 19-year-old girl in Crawford who's working very hard to make her mark in this male-dominated sport. In just a few short years, she's gone from racing go-karts to racing professionally in the Mazda MX-5 Cup Series. Now, this is where professional drivers compete in a series of races in Mazda Miata race cars. She's doing well. She finished 6th in her last race, and she says she's just getting started. At 19 years old, Sally Mott is taking on some of the most experienced MX-5 racers in the world. And while she's now whizzing around the tracks at 120 miles per hour, like many race car drivers, she started here in go-karts.
Did karting for about 2 to 3 years and started winning championships, started breaking track records.
And despite a few rough spots,
from the main massive crash.
I decided that this is what I wanted to do as a career.
With help from her dad, she got her first Miata race car. It wasn't pretty, but it got the job done. For the most part. And Sally started getting noticed.
Sally Mott, by the way, from dead last, fought her way back up to 11th position.
She was one of the winners of the MX-5 Cup Shootout. Last November, she won the Women's Initiative Scholarship, which helped put her on the track in a real race car for the 2024 season.
Every race I've had top finishing female. So that's something, but it's not that doesn't mean the most to me because there's only 2 of us, and it's I'm not here to be the best female, I'm here to be the best.
She has a ways to go, but she's very determined to prove that gender doesn't matter when the helmet goes on.
We have physically 30% less muscle mass than men do, but we do have some other pros. We pay closer attention to detail. There's a lot of things. I think when the helmet goes on, we're pretty much equal. I mean, especially in my series where we have power steering and ABS, so it's not that hard to drive the cars. It's all really in between your ears.
Some of her competitors have been driving longer than she's been alive. Getting them to accept her may take a while, and some victories.
There's a different vibe on track and in the paddock, because when I'm getting coached by other people or I'm getting talked to by my fellow male competitors, there's a different tone that they use just because I'm, a female.
I think they call that mansplaining.
Something like that, yeah.
Give some laps, go fast, be consistent, think about what we talked about, okay?
Sally doesn't get a lot of mansplaining from her coach, who is also her mentor, and her father, Robbie Mott, who started go-kart racing when he was just a kid.
Her desire and her will, because it is all her. And a lot of people don't realize that. I think a lot of people on the outside might think, oh, that's Robbie Mott, he's been racing his whole life. Surely he's got the whip and making her do that. No, it's so opposite.
Sally Mott is obsessed with racing and winning. She realizes that she's also a brand that sponsors will have to buy. And that takes a tremendous amount of work, on and off the track.
There's a lot of motivation behind me, and being raised by someone who has, instilled a very good work ethic into me, and just all the work that goes on behind the scenes that nobody sees, all the homework, all the sim, ping pong.
You heard her right. Ping pong is an important part of her training.
Ping pong is huge. It helps with hand-eye coordination, which is obviously, something that you need in the car, right? Because there's so much stuff happening so fast. And it also helps with your reflexes.
When she can't make it to the track, Sally has this simulator where she could download a near-perfect recreation of whichever track she's headed to next.
It's the closest thing we have to real seat time in the car. It's not, 100% accurate, but it's pretty dang close.
And it's also, as I found out,
yeah, that's a lot harder than it looks. Right. I don't think I'd be very good at this.
If they handed out trophies for grit and determination, Sally Mott would already be in the winner's circle. She knows what it takes to get there, and she's willing to put in the work to get it done. And she just might win over a few hearts and minds along the way.
At the beginning of the season, when I'm finishing towards the back of the field, you know, people are just like, oh my God, another Women's Initiative Scholarship winner who's just not that good. But right now, as I'm progressing more and more, I think I'm actually starting to see a lot more like respect in just how people talk to me in the paddock. Like after this weekend, a lot of people were like, good job, like front runners, guys that have been winning, like very good drivers are complimenting me. And it feels good. It's like, okay, now I'm starting to feel like I belong a little bit more.
When Sally is done with racing, she wants to start a school for other young women who would like to try their hand at this once male-dominated sport. Her next big race is coming up on the 23rd in Virginia.